Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast, where I, your host, Xavier Cruz, a lifelong wrestling fan, will take a lifelong friend through the action, the joys, and the drama of the world of professional wrestling. My co-host, Kelsey Silva, has been bitten by the wrestling bug, and I want to invite you to join us as I take her through the moments that made me a fan. So if you're new to wrestling and would like to get brought up to speed, or a fan who would like to relive some classic matches, promos, and segments through fresh eyes, join us as we embark on a journey through the Attitude Era and beyond. Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the March 24th, 1997 edition of Raw is War, and the match card is as follows. We had the Headbangers taking on the British Bulldog and Owen Hart for the WWF Tag Team Championship. We have Bart Gunn taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China. We have a six-man tag match from the AAA organization. We have Flash Funk taking on the Brooklyn Brawler. We have Rocky Maivia taking on Leif Cassidy. And in our main event, we had Ahmed Johnson taking on Savio Vega of the Nation of Domination. All right, let's get into it.
What a mess.
Amen. Well, so this is the fallout of WrestleMania. It tends to be a very chaotic episode every year, just because the Super Bowl of wrestling is over, and now we have to basically pick up all the pieces that have fallen from that bowl and try and see where we're at. So at the top of the show, it is announced that Mankind will be the #1 contender to the new WWF champion, The Undertaker. And that will take place at the next In Your House pay-per-view sometime down the line in April. Right now we are in the end of March. So we're planting the seeds for our next pay-per-view. There's a few little tidbits that kind of lead into that pay-per-view and kind of where we're going to go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like you expect that Mankind versus Undertaker, you still want to see him fight, to be honest. And again, it's like brought up a good point that Mankind is the only person that's really taken down the Undertaker before. So yeah, for sure. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But in our opener, we had the Headbangers who won their four-way elimination match at WrestleMania to become the #1 contenders to the British Bulldog and Owen Hart, who sort of successfully retained their titles also at WrestleMania. So this one is setting up for what should be a like big opportunity for the Headbangers, being that they really only arrived in very recently in the grand scheme of things. So to get their opportunity at the Tag Team Champions is nothing to sneeze at. So
Yeah.
So the Tag Team Champions are making their way down the ring, and we start to see just the what we've been seeing, just kind of turned up a little bit. Because I remember we talked about at the end during our WrestleMania episode that it has just been like alluded to that they were on like rocky terms for a minute now, and we were just like, okay, but when? And we found out when. We found out when.
Well, girl, we found out we've been having the F around. Today we found out. But It was just so back and forth for so long. And you guys already know how we feel about this. Like we've talked about it a million times. But it was just like, is it, isn't it, when, why,
well, they won't they. Ross Rachel, got it.
Yeah, thank you. We were on a break, we weren't on a break. What's happening? So today we saw some things finally happen that we've been waiting on.
So the Tag Team Champions are making their way down to the ring, and you can kind of see the first inklings that something's up when they both are making their way down, and there's only one camera, and you can see that the two are kind of competing to be like who's in front. First it's like the British Bulldog, he's got, he's dripped in gold, he's doing his thing, and then Owen, of course, being who Owen is, just like Slammy's first, like swoops in and gets in front of him and is like, woo, don't forget about me.
Love him.
We are getting the sense that like they're more at odds than they have been in the last couple of weeks. So JR's been talking about like, is there dissension? Is there dissension? And Jerry is just doing a great job, just being like, you're such an instigator. Like, what are you doing?
I love it. I love it.
And like
Again,
honestly, that like see the thing with like Jerry is so heinous, like I want to say like 70% of the time, but then the other 30% of the time, it's just straight facts. Like it is just straight facts.
I'm saying, and we've said this before, it's like every once in a while, Jerry like really just he's one of the girls. Like he like comes in and he's like, so are you gonna get up there and stir the pot like you always do, JR? And Xavier and I are like, yeah, are you? Like just
what's
wondering,
up? What's
up?
good, Miley? What's good?
No,
So
literally. So love to see it. Sometimes again, 30%, he comes in and you're just like, okay, Jerry, I see you. I see you.
100%. During this match, we get a little cutaway to the Legion of Doom, who is announced to be the #1 contenders to whoever wins this match. So whoever is coming out on top of this one has a tall order in the Legion of Doom. There was mention of ripping out the the medulla oblongata.
The medulla oblongata.
I guess he's been brushing up on his water boy, and like,
I love it. I love to see it. This promo was fantastic.
I love how much you have just taken to the Legion of Doom.
My God, like a fish to water. I swear
absolutely.
to God, they just tickle my brain in such a way. I don't know what it is, but some people just have that thing where you're just immediately like, yes, absolutely. I buy into it immediately, take my money, take my spirit, take my life force, like just everything.
Well, I mean, when it's presented in such a complete package, you know what I mean? It's hard not to just like be like, yep, thank you.
I'll take it. Yep.
Right, 100%.
True.
Put that on the cart. But like, because like they've been such an established team for so long, and like, yes, this is the first time like you're seeing them, but the fact that you saw them on their like return and get like such a reaction is it like it builds up like the aura of them, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, like why are they so good? Like why does everyone care all of a sudden? Like so I think it's like
the energy catches.
Oh, every time. Like
it's contagious.
And it's consistent. Like every time they like come onto the screen or like enter a storyline, everyone's like, oh shit, like it's about to get real.
I know.
And I love that
so much. Yeah. And that like, they're you can tell they're well established because their promos are amazing. They work well together. I need to know who does their makeup because it's amazing. Like it's so detailed. Like Animals was like has that like eye and like the wings. It almost looks like a butterfly or like a moth. Like it's just so amazing. The football pads with the spikes. The promos are clean and so good, and a little like that little oddness, like it's a little bit weird, but it's like you love it anyway. I don't know. They're just great, and it was so good.
So that is awaiting whoever is on the other side of this one. The match is this is probably the longest like bell to bell match that we have on this card.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the way that like the fallout of this match will get into momentarily, I think it had to be in the sense that it is not an unfamiliar finish to the Bulldog and Owens matches as of late. So I think if you're going to like once again like tap into that same kind of finish, you really got to give people like the meat in the middle, you know what I mean? So really I think that's kind of what they were going for. And it does, you know, it does two things. One, we need to establish the Headbangers as a team that is like rightfully in contention for the WWF Tag Team Champions, and then we need to like really see like the wall just start crumbling as far as the Tag Team Champions are concerned. So Bulldog at one point is using the ropes. He smacks into Owen, knocks Owen into the guardrail, and that is just the snowball that just starts running down the hill,
making the avalanche.
Oh, absolutely. So Owen is irate. He is big pissed that happened. So they start arguing on like the outside, and Owen's like, I'm your tag team partner, like what are you doing? And you hear the British Bulldog be like, why are you in the middle of the apron? Like,
yeah, like what are
like,
you doing?
right. And so he's like, I'm sick of this, and Owen like storms out, and you think like he's just gonna like fully just leave the Bulldog like high and dry, but it cuts to a commercial break, and then when we get back we see Owen pouting on the ring apron, just not pleased to be there. Not about it. He is over it. So the match continues, and they're just getting like more and more short with each other. Like the Bulldog like finally makes it to the apron to like tag Owen in. Owen's in for like maybe 3.5 seconds. Like gets one of the headbangers down, turns around and like tags Bulldog back in, while Bulldog is like fully just like clearly like collecting himself on the apron, and the Bulldog's like what is happening?
Literally just got here. Like,
right.
What do you mean?
So they keep going back and forth, and then they just are actually just like arguing. They are just like arguing in the center of the ring, and the headbangers are literally just like on the side, like one's on the side of the apron, the other one's like fully in the ring, just like,
hello,
what do I do here? And so the referee tries to interject himself between these two, because he's like, hey guys, you're on the same team.
Yeah,
and
I don't know if you know there's a match going on, and you guys are actually on the same side.
That's crazy.
Coincidentally, so weird. But
so the Bulldog shoves the referee like down. He said down and out. He said, get out of here. You have no business in this conversation. So Bulldog shoves the referee. Referee obviously calls for the disqualification because, like, hello.
Duh.
And they are just going at each other. They start shoving each other, and then all bets are off. They are literally just rolling on the ground, just beating the hell out of each other. And the gloves have come off. Okay, the girlies.
It happened.
The girlies are brawling. So they finally get separated by an onslaught of other referees and, your backstage personnel, the Stooges, as I like to call them. And they are finally separated. Owen grabs a mic and he's like, I'm sick and tired of your crap, Bulldog. And we're like, oh God. He's like, you know that I can beat you anytime, and that I like should have beaten you for the European Championship. So he's like, I don't want to worry about the Tag Team Championships right now. I want to face you like for the title, like if you're man enough. Just your classic, like, let me tap dance on some fragile male ego. And like,
my favorite.
So he's doing his best, like trying to get under Bulldog's like skin, and to his credit, it works. Hook, line, and sinker. The Bulldog's like, you know what? He's like, I accept. He's like, this is the only shot at the title you're going to get. So you better line up all your little P's and Q's, get them all nice and in order, because it's not happening again.
Like, crazy.
Right. So,
shade.
So they have a title shot, or the Owen has a title shot down the line. We know that at some point these two are going to have to take on the Legion of Doom, which is like one of the most unified tag teams ever. So we're seeing how this fallout is going on, because it was a long time coming, and
like a really slow burn.
Really slow burn. Like they were planting these seeds when Cornette was still around. Like
fully, the fuse is 500 yards long. Like I didn't even know if it'd make it to the Dynamite. Like I wasn't even sure.
At some point, I really thought it had gone out. Like
I thought they were like, you know what, this was a dumb angle. Like let's forget about it. I really, fully. We were like, will they? Won't they? I don't even know.
No, but here we go. Like the commentary team just like goes like, just like fully just has like a little powwow, a little chit chat, little tea time about the divorce that they just saw, and literally used the phrase like, what do you think of the divorce that we just witnessed?
Yeah, JR was like, who's getting the kids? And Xavier and I were like, what?
Right, we're like, that's crazy. Like
they're like married to other people. The reason they are together as friends is because Bulldog's married to Owen's sister.
Right. We're like, what are we
doing?
There's
no real divorce here. But it was kind of funny. I guess because they bicker like an old married couple. Like,
I guess. Or I mean, honestly, it's like the point where like some people like, when a couple that like probably should get divorced, they just stay together because like it's comfortable.
Yes, I do.
It's like that.
Yes, I do. And like, we call them the Bickertons. Like
Yes, I love that.
when people bicker like all the time and it's just like and they're like, I can't stand the sound of my husband's breathing. Oh well. I'm like,
Right. Leave.
"Mm,
I was like,
fine."
you
Like
can go.
any couple that's like that, we're like, oh, there come the Bickertons.
Amazing. So that whole fallout is on its way. We don't know where those pieces are going to fall, but all I know is the Legion of Doom is going to pick them up and roll over them. So
Oh, steamroll them, hit them with
I'm
the Doomsday
I'm talking
device.
penny on a train over them. Like that's
Flat.
like if you are not on one page trying to take on that, you're done. It's game
Mm.
over.
Even if you are at the top of your game on the same page, that's a difficult match to undertake,
That's what I'm saying. So like if you're already like this, good luck.
girl.
Good
Mm.
luck.
And also,
So
like, imagine being the tag team title champions, but like you fight your tag team for a different title belt, and then you're like, and then yeah, then we'll fight the Legion of Doom.
right. You think that's gonna no. No.
Just doesn't sound like something I would do, but that's up to you guys.
And listen, I'm gonna have no qualms about the Legion of Doom walking their way to another title reign, by all
No,
means.
I'm honestly not either.
I'd
Sorry.
love to see it because I'd love to see someone try and take it off them. You know, like
That is what I would like to see.
mm-hmm. Because
Sorry,
then
girl.
really like both like the Undertaker also as a champion like gives that vibe. It's like you really just want to see like who even is going to
No,
you know what I mean? Like it's just
fully.
that vibe where you're just like I don't know who could even step up, and that's
That's what I'm
exciting. You
saying.
know what I
And
mean?
yeah, and
That's like ooh.
honestly, Undertaker is world champion. Legion of Doom as tag team champions. Even just that little
Mm-hmm.
combo, cute. Love to
Right.
see.
Mm-hmm,
Like, I don't
mm-hmm.
know who's going to be intercontinental championship. Maybe it'll still be Rocky. I don't know. But like, I love to see the different title belts
Mm-hmm.
stacking up and what direction they're going into. You
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
know what I mean?
mm-hmm. No, I fully agree. I'm very excited. Very
Hmm.
excited. So after that, we get a promo from the number one contender. They were apparently on a search for him. And
And I said,
Kelsey,
did you check the sewer?
no, fully. You mean like literally the bottom basement where he always is? I was like,
uh,
don't try to make it sound like he's like hard to find.
like
Like,
as if we've ever interviewed him just in the locker room. And they're like, well, we
no,
looked at the locker room. He's not there. It's like, and
no,
you are
duh.
surprised?
Right.
Who's working here? Seriously. What's
I was
going
like,
on?
guys, let's get a handle on this. Let, let,
Let's get
we,
some shoes on the ground. We know he's in the basement. We know this.
right. I was like, sure, sure.
Okay.
We don't know where mankind. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
All
So
right.
we get a what we think is going to be just like a promo, but we actually just bear witness to the mental decline of mankind
As if
after
it could go farther.
lit.
No, I had no idea. We had more
Well,
levels.
well, that's because we have now added abandonment issues to mankind.
Here we go.
We've now we like whatever just absolute absurdity of like a mind he already had. We were just like, you know what? Let's let's make Papa Paul disappear.
Let's make these let's make these nachos ultimate. Let's just add a little more seasoning.
That's what I'm saying. They say he's not crazy enough, and I'm like, what? What? Okay, yeah,
Oh my god,
okay,
what a
sure.
sin. That's terrible. Oh my god.
Like I'm sorry, abandonment issues. That's the route we want to go. Okay,
How did
so
we go from Paul Bear being his like Uncle Paul being his father figure to they're seeking out a mother who was like Marlena for a minute to now no family, nobody. He's in the basement alone, unattended,
right, just
abandoned.
alone with his thoughts, and I'm
I
like,
really can't. That is
and,
so
and I was like,
funny.
I can't even be like left alone to go to the bathroom with mine, so I couldn't even imagine like what
In the
he's
dark in the
doing
basement.
with
Oh
his
my god.
thoughts.
Oh,
So
I'm dead.
mankind's just like repeating like he's gone, like he's gone, and like he's just like so like lost, just absolutely bewildered. He's like he left me. He's like I can beat the Undertaker, like I've done it before, but it feels more like trying to convince myself,
Fully,
less trying to
100%.
convince others. It is more
Hmm.
just like a like no like a pep talk to yourself.
Yeah, like sure,
um
sure, I've done that. It's fine. It's totally fine.
right, and then we find out like point blank period he goes, Uncle Paul is gone, and everyone's like, what do you mean gone? Like where
Mm-mm.
did he go?
Mm-mm.
And then he starts like just begging. He's just like, please come back. And like the thing that like the line that like gets me is the don't make me come find you.
Uh,
And And you're
That's what
like,
I wrote down.
I
Scary.
was I was like, that's scary. That's weird and scary, mankind. That's weird and
Because,
scary.
okay, I would never want the Undertaker as my enemy, but at least the Undertaker, like, sometimes there's like little glimpses of empathy.
Right.
Mankind has nothing. So,
No.
like, you want him as your
Hmm.
enemy instead? You want Mankind to be the one gunning for you? The guy who's literally saying he's taken out the Undertaker before?
Right.
That
The one you
just,
ditched the Undertaker for.
you want about,
You wanna just
okay.
like, okay,
And
good luck with
this
that.
is why Paul Bear.
Paul
It's
Bear.
on site
Mm-hmm.
for life. We'll get into it. We'll get into it because I'm still mad, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's not what I would. That wouldn't have been the choice that I made. But you do you.
Amen. So after that promo, we get a match between Bart Gunn and Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China. We got a recap of the incident between Goldust, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Marlena, and China. How Marlena ended up in the arms of China once again to be ragdolled, left a lifeless corpse for Goldust to collect and give us just, I don't know, the most drama that we saw at WrestleMania. Really, just
Incredible.
tears on his knees,
Mm.
just carrying his broken wife, as he later will describe it, back to the, I don't know, hospital.
Wherever the ethers that they crawled out of, the
Right.
golden vessel from which they've
Hmm.
come
Hmm.
from.
They've been beamed down from.
Yep.
Um, I have a note here that says, "Oh, we get Bret Hart on the Titantron." Basically, we see a lot of Bret Hart today. He wants to make sure that he's going to get all the time that he needs to uh, get everything off of his chest. He comes
Mm.
onto the Titantron just to make sure that Vince knows that, one, he's waiting, and two, he wants to just make sure that he is allotted the time that he deserves. More to come on that. We are obviously seeing the heel turn of Bret Hart. Um, and yeah, he's got gripes. So he's got sour grapes,
Yep.
and basically he just wants us to know that he's gonna tell
He's
us about it.
he's gonna tell us, and it's gonna take a long time.
Right, right. So I have a note that just says Bart Gunn Wrangler ad.
Oh, well,
Just more of that. I don't know
so
who at
great.
Wrangler we needed to contact. We need to go back in time and make that happen.
Fully.
Um, because
Wow.
because wow, that's right.
He's just so gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So gorgeous.
I know he can do no wrong in my eyes, but which
Hmm.
is probably more of a bigger problem. But
Oh yeah, like I know this is an issue, but I'm not asking for help, so
yeah,
sorry.
exactly. Thank you. So this match is also like, it's pretty like neck and neck. We haven't seen too much of Bart in the last like couple weeks here and there.
Hmm.
I think that's going to continue to be the case until we find out like an identity for Bart.
Yeah.
Because he's still very much in that, I am who I was in the tag team, just without a tag team partner.
Right. And
So, but also so is Billy.
well,
So
and I guess like they were trying we were saying they were trying to stir up something between like Billy and Ken, or like Ken Shamrock, or like they're just trying to
mm,
they were just
using
showing how
Billy, yeah.
strong Ken Shamrock was. I'm like, why did we not? And I guess because they're more like mid card. Like, why did we not go for like the brother angle? Like Billy was literally paralyzed
Right,
by Bart, and then he came back. Nothing, not a whisper of like, hey, bro,
right.
like I'm back. Like, I don't know. I feel like there was some like an easy layup there that they're just like not
No, it was
doing.
really just like a
And I
missed
guess like because there were
opportunity.
yeah, I guess because there were bigger storylines in place that were more important, but like still, even like the smaller storylines can be interesting. Because I was like, are they gonna like see each other or say anything? Or are we gonna get any sort of something
Like a
between them? Like,
resolution on this,
yeah,
like at
because
all.
they were a tag team that broke apart, then they were gonna fight, then Billy's paralyzed, he's out, the wives are screaming. You guys already know. I've already said it a
Right.
million times. So it's like I feel like that was such a missed opportunity that they could have done because like everyone loves the family feud. Everyone
Hmm.
loves the family feud.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know.
So
I agree. I wish that upon Billy's return, they would have just like jumped back into it. Like,
fully,
because now,
100%.
because even if they were to like do it now, it still just feels like okay, delayed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
They should have had like Billy just like walk out during one of Bart's matches and be like,
I would have
oh,
I would have
hello.
I would have given Billy a haircut. I would have given him a new fit. I would have had him come back, just be like, I'm calling on my brother right now. Get your ass out here. Like, let's do
Thank
it.
you. That's
Um,
easy. Done.
right. You know, like new hair, new attitude. That's what I would have done.
Period. Shit, like a
Like
crew cut,
that's yes, exactly. Something
black pants instead of the light wash denim.
right.
Such an easy reach. Like
Mm-hmm.
so easy. Don't get it. Don't understand.
Right. So we'll see what is to become of Bart. I don't know. Hopefully good things because I love that
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, he's good. He's
So we do
good.
get a cutaway promo from Goldust, and it's really just like it cuts to him, and he's just like like withering away next to Marlena's like empty chair.
Love.
He's just
Love.
like it just cuts to him just like half in the shot, but it's mostly just Marlena's empty chair. And it's amazing. So they ask him, you know, basically his thoughts on the whole situation. And he's like, there are no more words, only actions.
Oh.
And then he goes into like another like quote. Then he just goes, "You have silenced the lamb. Now your pain will be deafening." And I was like, ooh,
Oh my
love
God.
that.
Love that.
Um,
Just chewed.
mhm. Oh,
Delicious.
he was all over
Delightful.
it.
Not
And he
one misstep. Nothing.
and he's like, oh, so, and they basically ask him like, what of this like feud with like Hunter? He's like, there will be no more sequels like after this like next encounter that they had. And he's like, you will never forget the name Marlena. He's coming for revenge.
And you want to know what I love about that? I thought he was going to say, "You're never going to forget the name Gold Dust." He said, "You're never going to forget the name of my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I'll kill you."
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying. I
I
love
love
that.
it.
I love that
Love.
because
Even
it's that like revenge, you know, and like I'm coming for my woman.
for her,
Right.
vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
And like the best was like, so he was wearing the wig in the beginning when he's
Mm-hmm.
like stroking the chair talking. And then when he gets up, he's like, nah, wig off.
I love that
So
Goldust
good.
like really perfected the wig snatch like before it became like a
Before it
thing.
became
Like that.
wig snatched, wig flown, any sort of thing with the wig. I love it because there really is no purpose to it other than drama.
No,
And
only
what is the point of living other than that, to be
that's
real?
beats me
I'm
honestly
saying, like,
because like that man understands the assignment every time. There's just
every
like
time.
he knows who he is as a character. He
Yep,
knows it's weird AF, and he
yep,
knows that he can get away with just doing pretty much anything.
yep.
Because like I so my fun fact for you all, I used to do like theater whatever. So my favorite characters ever were the ones where I was like heavily in like a costume, like
Right.
Uncle Fester. I went
Work.
balls to the wall playing
Yes.
Uncle Fester because you could just be as weird and like just out there as possible. And it's just very much in like the same kind of character where it's just like you can do no wrong as far as like logistically speaking. So
Mm-hmm.
why not just like
Yeah, send
be
it.
absolutely bonkers?
Full
And I
send.
love that. I live for that.
Yeah, and like you said, he's so in his character where he makes like references to film and like, but it's not
Hmm.
overdone. Like, and again, it's that idea. We've been talking about this for the last few weeks with like the Monday Night Wars, ECW, like everything like that, where it's like he's not like a specific thing, he's kind of like an idea. And so like you
Hmm.
can take the idea so many places. Like, yes,
Right.
it's film, they're from Hollywood, it's whatever, but there's so many layers to it and like so much like I don't need mystery where you can just go in any avenue, any lane,
Right.
as long as it's within this umbrella, this beautiful gold umbrella. Like I just love it.
No,
It's
I love
so
that.
good.
And I love because it doesn't matter what feud like he will find himself in.
Hmm.
Like wrestling feuds still follow the same storytelling arcs that all storytelling arcs follow. So
Right.
like it is such a like kind of like a fourth wall break kind of character because he
Mm-hmm.
can really just like point out the fact that like whatever stage he's at in the storyline, like he's like probably the only character that can like really like address that
Mm-hmm.
and like really point it out to like the audience in an overt way without it coming off as like taking away from what they're trying to do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's such a good point. Really good point. The world's a stage. The
The
world's
world's a
a
stage,
stage,
and I
baby.
love that. Honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if he has it like just like on his ass one day, just like the
Yeah, I'm
world's a
saying, right.
stage.
The world on one cheek is a stage.
Amen. So of course our girl China has to make her presence known in this match. So she at one point, Bart is flying on the ropes. She pulls the top rope down. He falls outside of the ring, and she proceeds to just scoop him up and body slam him. And that
Girl.
is absolutely insane. And they make a point to be like, first of all, Bart like eclipses Hunter as far as like just like a big dude. Like they made a point to be like, he is 270 pounds. Like that's
Yep.
crazy. That
That's a
is
lot.
that's for anybody, any wrestler, let alone China. Just like, and she did it with ease. It was effortless.
It was so
She looked like she
effortless.
could have picked up like 6 of him just in a row.
Yeah,
Just
it
didn't
looked like she
matter
was flipping a pancake. She was like, boop, boop. That's
all
it.
day long. And then she takes him and slams his face into the steel post because she's just like, not enough. And she's like,
She wasn't,
I didn't
a
do
little
enough.
more, a little more.
That allows Hunter to hit the pedigree and get the victory, which is the theme. This is what we're going to see from them. This is the formula they're running with, and
I like it.
it's successful. It
I like
works.
it.
Yeah, I can't even be mad at it because it's just like she's so cool. I don't care.
I'm obsessed with her, and she was wearing the cutest little boots tonight. She has her little sports, like her little sports bra top and her leggings, and she just is so formidable. She got her ponytail, whoosh,
She's
her
got her ponytail
eyeliner.
and her mean mug. Like I
I'm
can't.
telling you, that's all you need. That's all
Oh,
you need. He hits him with the pedigree, and she's the thoroughbred. Like I love it.
amen.
It's fun.
So after that, we'll see where that goes. I'm very excited for China. I just so much. She's just so cool, and there's just so many ways that she's going to be implemented, um, especially when she like really comes into like her own.
Yeah.
Right now, she's just playing that stoic, like, I am just muscle. I am muscle. You don't need to know anymore.
Yep.
But as we kind of like get into China, it's so cool. It's so cool. I'm
I'm
very excited.
excited because I love her so much and I'm so tempted to look things up about her. Like I just want to, and I refuse because I'm like, I don't want anything about this character to be ruined for me. And I haven't
Mhm.
I've only seen like one little glimpse of something,
Mhm.
but I'm like, oh, I just want to know so much about her. And
Right.
but I like can't because I'm like, I don't want to ruin everything. So it's just going to be like a slow burn. But I
Yeah,
also love that.
it's gonna be a slow burn, but
Yeah.
it's a great ride. So
I'm so excited.
so next we have a 6-man tag match from the AAA organization. We have Venom, Supernova, and Discovery taking on El Mosco, Hysteria, and Abismo Negro, which I haven't heard of any of these people. Once again, we're doing like a little cross promotion kind of situation. These are like your Lucha Libre stars, which was very evident in the style of the match.
My God.
Yeah, it is. You can kind of tell like it is less there's less like chain wrestling, there's less like hold for hold, there's they don't really do the power game. It is like very high flying, lots of spots, like yeah, spots meaning like you can kind of tell when like people are supposed to be in a certain place to catch people.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So there was a lot of that, a lot of back and forth. And if you notice, they aren't necessarily the best at tagging in and out. It's
No.
less of a thing in like AAA and like just Mexico generally. A lot of the times they like in those organizations just fight under like tornado tag rules anyway. So it's
I
like
see.
whoever comes and goes. So when you're put into this like different kind of setting, it becomes more obvious because
Right.
when every other tag team is using the tag rope and doing what they're supposed to do, and just these guys are just like flying all over the place, it's like, oh, okay, you get very much so. There's lots of just like style contrasts to what we've become like accustomed to, which is
Yeah.
very fun to watch.
Of course.
If anything, it just feels like not in place with the rest of the show. But again, it is not from our, like, it's not from this organization, so it's going to look a little different.
Out of place, yeah. And I will say, the way they shuffle that ref around, because he's always like, it always felt like he was in the way.
Right.
And so they were always like, which
Move.
it's so high flying fast and like jumping and like, so they were literally just like, get out of the way. Like every time they were running, they were just like shuffling him aside. And the ref was kind of, I gave him a lot of credit because he was kind of just like, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Like he was really calling it the best to the best of his ability after like really not witnessing this
I
often.
I don't remember what interview I like saw recently, but I saw recently like a wrestler was talking about just um how hard it is to do the referee like position, because he's like, you have to like remember every time like we do a move and like we're like laying on the mat, like that's a break for us, like quote unquote, that's a break for us. The
Right.
referee has to like be engaged, has to be able to like let the crowd know, like be big enough that the crowd knows what's going on in the match, make sure that the wrestlers are like safe, like not hurt, or are cognizant enough of what's going on that if something does happen that they have to step in. And all the while like they don't stop, like they can't stop, because while the wrestlers are down or doing something else, like they have to be like screaming and counting, they have to throw themselves on the ground to like count the pin, they have to get back up, they're like making sure they're not in the way of those like big spot moves. So it's not something we ever really like talk about too much. But shout out to whoever that interview was for like giving the referees
The
their
props.
props.
Yeah, I love
Because
that.
it does not look easy. Like they are constantly in motion. So
Yeah, and I always wonder, and I guess like maybe we'll watch something about this for After Dark or something, but like I always wonder in terms of like training or getting ready for certain matches, like how involved the ref is in like that process. Like, because I know they must know a
they
lot,
mhm.
but I'm so curious about that.
I imagine they get that, well, they'll definitely know what the finish is. Like they'll definitely be told
Right.
like what sequence like
Is the
to
end.
look out for, to be like, oh, this is the end.
Yeah.
And you like you'll notice like the referees are always like in contact with the wrestlers, obviously.
Right. Of
So
course.
like if
Yeah.
they have to like do audibles, like you can kind of like you can kind of see. Usually like wrestlers that are very good at it are better at concealing it or like knowing when the camera is on them or not.
Mm-hmm.
But even like just like little things like if you ever see like a wrestler like do a big like move, the referee goes over and like just puts his like finger like in their palm, and the wrestler has to like squeeze to be like, hi, I'm alive, like that, I'm fine, like
Okay.
you know what I mean? It's just like they're constantly just like, what's going on? So I
Yeah.
imagine like they definitely know the finish, but as far as like every spot, like I don't know.
I know.
So
I'd love to know that.
and I guess like the longer you're there, the probably the more it's in the same way as like I'm sure being a wrestler is, the longer you're there, the probably easier it is to like just
Yeah.
adapt to like, okay, like this person are having a match, like I generally know like what they do.
Yeah.
So
So interesting.
very interesting. I would love to
Love
get a
that.
referee on the show sometime. That would be
I
wild. I would
would
love to just
love
like
that.
poke their brain, you know?
Yeah, I would love to itchy scratchy get in
So
there. The
any of
medulla oblongata girl, if you will.
so if any of y'all out there in the listening world know any refs and
Or
want
if
to
you
put the,
are a ref,
yeah,
come
if you
on
want
down,
to
girl.
message us.
Hmm.
We are, I guess, technically in season 2 of the show, year 2.
Woohoo!
So just a little surprise for you guys. We are going to start making our way into getting guests on the show for you
Girl.
guys.
I'm
So I have some stuff lined up. I will announce our guest for next week at the end of the show, and we will kind of keep you guys posted. It won't be an every week thing, so if you do just enjoy the two of us gabbing, don't worry. But I think it'll be a lot of fun to get some other perspectives and see what other kind of matches or other wrestling stories,
perspectives. Yeah.
drama, we can kind of get in front of us, because it's, you know, that's how we learn. We
Yeah.
pick and choose from all kinds of brains.
Yeah, and I hope you guys are also, like me, all thrilled and terrified to see what it's like to add a third person to this dynamic.
Honestly, same. We haven't done it yet, but
No, I know. Like, I think, like, aren't you guys like a little morbidly curious as to see what that's gonna be like? I am.
Exactly. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that.
All right, so next we get a very Dr. Phil-esque segment
Girl, what?
between Rocky Maivia and Rocky Johnson. Basically, the vibe was like Rocky was like, "I didn't need your help, Dad," and like,
well, son,
right, and basically Rocky was like, "I first of all it was weird because he was like, I bought my own ticket," and I was like, okay, most people do.
Yeah.
And
he was like, Vince could have bought me one, but I got here on my own money. I had my own ticket, and we're like, okay.
I was like, you don't work for Vince anymore. What's he
Girl.
supposed to fly you everywhere? Regardless. So he's like, I wanted to like stand and support my son, but once I saw them attacking you, there was no way that I was gonna like any man who cares about his son would not like let that happen to their son or see that happen to their son and do nothing. He's like, but I understand. I won't interfere in your matches anymore. And I was and like they like
Hug it out.
embraced after, and I was just like, I didn't need to be the fly on the wall in that conversation. Like that very much seemed like a combo for them, and I got nothing out of it.
That's one you have at the kitchen table in your own home. Why is Vince McMahon facilitating this in an empty arena before Raws were? What's happening here? Like it was so weird. Didn't need it. It felt very high school like movie where it's like, no, Dad, it's your dream. You know what I
very
mean? Like
after
it felt
school
like
special. Like
yes, Jesus Christ, it really did. I didn't need it. Didn't want it. It was okay.
Yeah, it was there. And then we transition out of that little segment into the honky tonk man, just screaming, hooting and hollering as he joins commentary. I'm not going to go into it any further. You know
Please
where
don't.
we stand on the honky tonk man. He's hooting and hollering. So in our next match, we have Flash Funk taking on the Brooklyn Brawler, who we haven't seen in almost a year. Frankly, we just like I think saw him once in the beginning of the show, and we haven't seen him since.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Welcome back, Brooklyn Brawler.
Welcome back. Like no big welcome back for the Brooklyn Brawler. They were just like, get out there, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, he didn't even get an entrance.
Never.
So not that it would have mattered because once again, Flash Funk took 3.5 years to get thing. The Funkettes were more in time this time. So yay, good for them. For the most time.
They have literally 20 minutes of an entrance to lock it in, so you know.
Yeah, do what you got to do. So again, don't need that whole thing televised. Honky Tonk Man makes some comment about taking the Funkettes and making them the Honkettes, and gross. I needed to say it just because I thought that was the worst title ever. Just the worst thing.
It sounds like a bunch of geese.
You're not wrong. You were absolutely like a geese choir. It's that sounds like oh, that bigger picture Aflac commercial.
Okay, work. Is he a duck? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's heinous.
Aflac is a duck.
It's a duck. Either way, duck, goose, whatever.
Irrelevant. Anyway, so I love this little note from Jerry. He goes, somebody must have told the Brooklyn Brawler, don't ever change, and he must have taken that to mean his clothes. And we know this because the Brawler just comes out in his jeans and a t-shirt with just I don't know what's holding that t-shirt together. Just hope.
Not even like he literally is giving real Brooklyn vibes. Like just. Tore up clothes. I don't know. Something. Like it just it is so silly. I don't get it. And a part of me was like, is this kind of like and it isn't. This is such a stretch. This is like so stretched, but it's like it almost like because we've been watching the ECW documentary, it's like where they're like, yeah, they're just guys from Philly that like to fight. And it's like it's like their guy from New York that likes to fight.
Well,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
I mean the Brawler's been around for a hot minute, but yeah,
right.
I feel like it's just that. Like he has Brawler in the name. We can't expect much more outside of that. So
Yeah.
Flash Funk hits us with that crazy 450 splash, gets the victory, and yeah, that's another win in the book of Flash Funk. Good for
Yep.
you. Good
Love
for
that.
you.
Another notch on the belt. Good for you.
Amen. So next we get an interview with Ken Shamrock. Um, we likened this to a deposition just
Swear to
because
God.
the way that he was being interviewed was just he was just so serious and like yeah, I don't know. So basically they ask him like, why did you stop the match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart? For those of you who don't know, he was the special guest referee for the no disqualification submission match. Basically he was just like, Stone Cold was unconscious and couldn't defend himself, so that's what you do when someone's unconscious and can't defend themselves. And we were
You
just like,
stop them from getting beat up
right,
as the
yeah.
ref.
I
That's
was
what
like,
you do.
you stop them from getting permanent damage done to them. So he was
Right.
like, but then they go on to be like, did you hear Stone Cold say I quit? And this is, we are planting the seed for Stone Cold. Stone Cold was apparently barred from the arena due to the like mental state that he was in after the match.
Love.
Sure. Sure. But we're setting the like seeds here, and it comes up again later that Stone Cold did not quit. So we are going to hold on to that. Hold on to it. We're gonna hear from him next week.
Blessed.
So basically, so Ken Shamrock goes, he's like, Stone Cold couldn't defend himself. And then they ask him about Bret Hart attacking Stone Cold after the match, and he's like, well, clearly I had to do something about that. He was unconscious.
Oh.
So and then he goes on to be like, I don't necessarily care for Stone Cold Steve Austin, but there's no quit in that man. Like that is
Love.
one of the toughest people I've ever seen. And you're
Love.
like, you know what? Great. Short, sweet, to the point. A little awkward, but I think
I
that's
mean,
more the presentation than anything else. I think had they like brought him to the ring and like just done this, that would have been a little bit less,
yeah.
I don't know. Would have felt a little less formal, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little, it felt like I said, like an interrogation. It's like, but also I feel like because Ken Shamrock's still getting like the wrestling promo, like kind of feel.
Right.
Because like you don't do that in UFC. Like you just
Not
kind of
no,
fight. Like,
no. Not
So I
with
don't know if
the theatrics,
right with the drama. Like so I get it. And also I think it was good because it painted him as like a no BS, like, yeah, I just did what I did.
Right.
Like I just followed the rules that I did the job that I was hired to do.
Right.
And thank God they showed clips of him doing that job again. Love to see the little tights again.
Oh, amen.
Thank you
Amen.
so much for
Amen.
that gift. But yeah, I mean, it was good. Again, it was weird because also the mic was like on a stand, like down by his like
Mm-hmm.
navel, and then like he was just standing there, like, uh-huh.
Right.
Well, I did that because of XYZ. So I don't know. It was a little weird, but whatever. They wanted to make it super duper clear,
Mm-hmm.
super duper clear.
So after that promo, we get Bret Hart coming to the ring. And
Girl,
boy, so this is the promo that is going to solidify Bret Hart as a heel.
yeah,
He's over it. So he basically says, I'd like to apologize to all my fans from like all over the world. He like lists, he's like Europe and Canada and like Africa, Asia, like everywhere. He goes, and to my American fans, I apologize for nothing. And you're like,
girl.
oh, here we go. He
Not making
it,
this about patriotism.
honestly, and then he goes into a cuts to a shot of a fan's like sign that just says, I believe in you, Bret. And that's so sad.
So sad. There were a few signs that were like, Bret Hart's still the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And I was like, ouch.
And then he basically goes on to like attack the fans, basically being like, it doesn't matter what I do, no matter like if I win, you make me feel like I lost anyway. So you're like, okay. He's like, you cheer for Austin even though he lost the match. He's like, you cheer for a like boy toy like Shawn Michaels who uh uh poses for girly magazines. And then he says that he was sitting at home he was sitting at home just watching the WWF and he felt like the WWF needed a hero, a role model, a savior, somebody that doesn't pose for gay magazines.
Girl,
And
not the gay magazine.
he honestly, we were just like, oh, okay, here we go.
I
And
literally just put
then
eek in my notes. Eek.
yeah, just yeah, once again, late 90s, your casual homophobia. So he's come back to clean up the WWF. Can't have any of those expressives out there in the WWF. And then he goes on to list his grievances, his what is it, the 95 like thesis, or what is it, like Martin Luther, what is his thing?
The I Have a Dream speech?
No, not Martin Luther King. Martin Luther. It's like 19 grievances or whatever.
I was like, oh, like
That,
the founder of like the Lutheran
yes,
church.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
Mark.
yes.
I was like,
The I have a dream.
hashtag not my Martin Luther. Okay. Not my Martin Luther.
Amen, amen.
I have a dream speech or bust.
So basically, he goes on to list everything that has ever happened to him ever in the last year.
Wow.
He's like, let's go back to WrestleMania. He's like, where we have this incredible Iron Man match, and I get screwed out of the title from Shawn Michaels because it goes into overtime, and they, instead of just declaring Brett the winner, they do like a sudden death kind of situation. Shawn Michaels ends up the champion.
Right.
So he feels he is screwed out of the title and then just F's off into the wind for 6 months. So he's like, all right, I'll come back at Survivor Series. And he takes on Psycho Sid, only to get screwed out of the title by Shawn Michaels' involvement. He's like, all right, fine. So then they tell me I have to win the Royal Rumble. I have to fight 29 other people. And he's like, and if you know me, fine, whatever, I'll do it. And then he goes on to be like, I was the last legal man standing in the Royal Rumble. So by all like points, I won that match. And then he basically goes on to be like, but no, we all had to just like accept that Stone Cold won the match, even though he was already eliminated, comes back into the match and then eliminates me, quote unquote. So nothing he's saying is like wrong. He's not like incorrect. And then he was like, a better man should have quit. And Vince, over the commentary, he's like, you did
Literally
quit.
the shade. He's like, okay, but you did.
Right. He's like,
I mean,
or you tried to. And then he goes, and then Brett goes, I have Gorilla Monsoon and Vince McMahon begging me to not quit. He's like, think of your fans, Brett. And so they're like, okay, he's like, sure, whatever. I thought of my fans. So then they come up with this Final Four idea, and the winner becomes the WWF champion after Shawn Michaels like pussyfoot injury. Basically, he's calling him like a faker, like his injury's made up.
So crazy.
He's like, and then I go on to win the Final Four. I beat Vader, Austin, and The Undertaker right here in the middle of the ring, and I become the champion for the 4th time. And it's like, oh, but no. Do I get a break? Absolutely not. I gotta fight Psycho Sid the next night. Crazy. And then he's like, I tied Psycho Sid up in a pretzel, and who comes down but Austin, just to hit me in the back of the head with a chair. And apparently, fine.
That's fine.
All fine. Doesn't matter. So then they're like, we finally like, he gets a piece of Austin. He gets his like submission match scheduled for WrestleMania. And then he's like, oh, and then they do me one better and say I'll have a cage match against Psycho Sid so that nobody can interfere. And then he goes, and here comes Austin and The Undertaker just to come mess with my shot. And like, again, like, he has told no lies.
Not a single lie. Not a single one.
You know what I mean? Like, so but those are the best villains.
I was just gonna say that. This type of villain origin story is the best.
Right.
It's the best because you get it. You're like, we've been saying it for weeks. Like, I would be pissed too. I'd be going crazy. I'd be so mad.
Right. So he's addresses the fans again. He's like, I tried to be everything that you wanted to be, but clearly you don't have respect for me. Clearly you don't care for somebody to bring dignity and poise and class to the WWE. I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. That listen, when you start talking about like I got class, like it's game over. You might as
It's
well just like
over.
take the earrings off now.
Swear to God.
And then he's like, nobody puts like criminal behavior on a pedestal like Americans. And again, he hasn't told any lies.
Ooh, the truth.
That statement just became more true in the year 2024
Yeah,
than it is in
literally
1997.
that line took me out.
Oh, amen. He goes on to be like, you don't respect me, I don't respect you. He's like, you don't deserve my respect. And he's like, as far as I am concerned, all you fans can kiss my ass. And like just chucks the microphone at JR, who is just there. And then Shawn Michaels comes out.
Hey girl.
And I love anytime these two decide to mince words. It is always fantastic.
I love them.
Shawn Michaels comes down to the ring and he's like, say whatever you want about me. Everybody else does. Does
I
not
love him.
matter. He's like, and he's like, basically goes on to Brett to say, like, and I understand, like, you think like you own the world championship belt. Like you need a handwritten note from God to excuse you from winning that belt. And I was like, oh God.
So
And then
good.
he goes on to be like, just because I live my life open and free and honest does not make you a better man than me. I was like, I don't put on a front. I let everybody know exactly what I'm thinking when I am thinking it. And he's like, I know my faults and I own up to every last one of them. And he's like, and as far as Stone Cold is concerned, like he didn't give up. Like you didn't win the way you think you won. And then Shawn Michaels goes on to be like, oh, I get it. Like you're tougher than me. Blah, 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 blah. He's like, I come to this ring because I like it. You come to this ring because you think that all of this like actually belongs to you.
Crazy.
And you're like,
oh my God.
It's
crazy.
So intense. And then he goes on to say, when the fans pay their money, they get to cheer and boo whoever they want. I was like, that is their right. They bought the ticket. They're paying your salary.
Yep.
So
crowd goes berserk for that.
Oh,
Shawn Michaels said that and everyone lost it.
And basically he was like, and if they boo you, he's like, it's tough titties. Like, oh well.
Literally, he said tough titties, by the way.
Yeah.
He said
amazing.
tough titties, said the kitty. Amazing.
And then
he also said, like, they boo me all the time.
Right. And he's like,
they're
you don't
cheering
see
for
me like
now.
losing it.
Yeah,
like,
they're cheering for me now. He's so real for that. He goes, they're cheering for me right now, but they boo me all the time. And I just take it. And it's true. It's so true.
Look back at like the couple Psycho Sid matches. Like the crowd was very not on.
We've talked about it. I was like, why are they booing him? I'm so upset.
Right.
Like they do that. Crazy. Anyway.
You know, it depends on where you are, like what part of the country, like
of course
where they're at in their storyline. Like, but that's their prerogative. Sorry, baby.
That's the truth.
And basically, Shawn Michaels then goes like, here in America, we have a saying. It's basically love it or leave it. And Brett's like, you need to get out of my face. Essentially. He's Shawn then goes on to be like, I'm not really good with authority. I don't know if you've checked up on that, been brushed up on me recently. And then Shawn just drops the absolute bomb and he goes like, how did you know I was in that girly magazine? Brett, what, you just had to take a peek? The curiosity got the better of you? And he was pissed. So it looks like Brett's about to like leave. He like throws his microphone at JR. And then Shawn turns to leave because he thinks it's over. And Brett turns around, kicks him right in the knee, and then proceeds to put Shawn in a figure four leg lock around the ring post, much like we saw yesterday at the WrestleMania pay-per-view against Stone Cold. But he was not letting go. One, we know Shawn Michaels is still suffering from a knee injury. And two, we know that they got bad blood from over a year ago.
Yep.
So they do not get along. We know this, and it is just deteriorating more and more as Brett's like mind deteriorates. So
Yep.
it's absolutely crazy.
So
It
great.
doesn't end until Psycho Sid um comes out and starts like making his way down to the ring. Brett like lets go of the hold and like starts just like he wants no part of it. He's just like, nah, I'm good on that. Thanks. So basically Sid chases Brett, like chases, he like walks Brett like out of the ring. Brett's
Mm-hmm.
like talking smack on his way out. But that's kind of where it dissipates. Like Sid is
Yeah.
just yelling in the ring. Sean's being attended to by all of the Stooges and the refs, and Brett's like, nah, not for me, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, and wild, wild
So
thoughts.
crazy. I have a lot of thoughts. One, it's so hard for me to watch Bret Hart be a heel. Like I don't know why I feel this way because normally I love to
Mm-hmm.
see the where everybody's going with it, like whatever. And we talked about this a little bit last week where I was like, "Oh, like, it just I wasn't over the gimmick because I'm still new to
Mm-hmm.
it." But again, this is the type of villain origin story that I love where it's like you have sympathy for the devil, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And also, I love this idea that it made you feel like kind of guilty because he's like, no matter what I did for you people, it was never enough. And then you
Right.
kind of like, it makes like you kind of go like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, like the people pleaser in me was like, oh no, like
Right.
I'm sorry, like I feel really
Mm-hmm.
bad now. And like especially those people who it creates such emotion. It's really just great storytelling because the people who have the signs like Bret Hart, it like, you're still the best, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, see, you guys never appreciated him. And then the people that were mad at him are like, oh, did I not appreciate? Oh, well, whatever, like
Right.
screw him. Like it creates such a stir. It really is just very compelling. It makes me sad and it makes me feel bad, but that's like the point. It's like to draw the emotion because
Mm-hmm.
like, that's what you want. So
Right.
and I love to see Shawn Michaels like get involved in the beef. And Shawn Michaels is so funny because like Bret Hart's being like real. He's telling his perspective of the events of the last year. And like that's true. But then Shawn Michaels, what he said is also true. It's
Right.
like, okay, you can feel that way all you want, but these are the facts.
Right.
So like wah wah. Like, listen, I cry all the time, and so do you. Oh, also I love that Bret Hart when he was saying, like, oh, and then Shawn Michaels with his kney injury, and then he went like
Oh
and like
yeah. He
pretended
like
to wipe away his tears.
yeah. Oh,
Amazing.
so petty. So petty.
Yeah, and I want to see the two of these guys like get into this like war of the realness. Like, oh, you
Mm-hmm.
want to talk? Like, let's talk. Like, I love
Right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I don't think Psycho Sid needed to come out, but sure. Like, that's
Right.
fine. Yeah, I just thought it was great. It's sad, but it's great. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's a lot of emotions coming up.
So we're gonna see where that falls because now we got a lot of moving parts in that. We still got Austin, who we're gonna hear from next week.
Can't
We
wait.
have Brett, who will also be there next week. Now Sean's got, I'm sure he's gonna have something to say. Sid's involved, like messy. We're gonna
We're
messy
just getting
right
right
again.
back into it, right back into it. Never
Uh,
ends.
so we'll see where that falls next week.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned for that one. So the next match, again, the match is kind of an afterthought, not really the point.
No,
It's
not at
Rocky
all.
Maivia versus Leaf Cassidy, which we've seen a couple weeks ago, which we thought was underwhelming. So not sure why we're doing it again, but we you kind of learn that it is not the match is not the point. That is not the focus, which is a
Not at
little
all.
bit of a shame because the Intercontinental Championship is supposed to be known as like the workhorse title. It's
Yeah,
supposed to be like the like I come out there every week and put it on the line and do this, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like that's its time to shine. So
yeah,
the fact that they kind of like really diminished it in that way was kind of a bummer. Not that the title was like necessarily on the line, just that
yeah.
they didn't really give the champion the kind of like time slash respect you normally get with that championship, if that makes sense.
Fully.
Like it just
No,
felt
it
like
it
they just
is
kind of like stuck him in like a squash match for the sake of like furthering
storytelling.
the main story, and it's just like, oh, he needs a story.
No, fully. Especially last night, WrestleMania, he literally defended the title. Like
Right.
he literally defended the title against Sultan. His dad. We literally saw the family therapy session between him and his
Right.
dad. Like it was really weird. And again, it's also like it's not against someone new. It's like we literally saw this match like 2-3 weeks ago.
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Super weird.
And it wasn't like it was a match that like, like we didn't start a feud 3 weeks ago and like are picking it back up now.
Yeah.
Like, no, we just like threw this match together.
Yeah.
So the big thing in this match is that Brett makes his way back down and joins commentary. Basically, Vince is like, what's happened to you? Blah, 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 blah. And Brett's like, I opened my eyes. You should try
Love.
it.
Honestly,
like,
I love this where he's like, I didn't snap, I opened my eyes, you should try it. And it's like,
right.
Again, this is again my favorite type of villain origin story where it's like, you gave me no choice. You backed me into a corner and now I see you.
Right.
Now I see you.
No, fully. Vince goes on to be like, oh, like you're flushing your legacy like down the drain. And he's like, I got flushed down the drain by every one of you. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like
you
my
flushed me down the
legacy.
drain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, don't even like try that. Not much I couldn't even tell you what happens in the match other than
Nothing.
Rocky hits the crossbody, picks up the victory, and Bret Hart is all over Rocky at the end of it. Just attacks him from behind, leaves him laid out, doesn't attack Leaf. Leaf gives him like a thumbs up on the way out.
Leaf's like,
see ya. And yeah, that's kind of like where we're left. Bret is just our new resident menace, apparently.
and okay.
Oh,
I don't know how we're getting more menaces than non-menaces, like because we have, Stone Cold and Bret. They hate each other, but they're both gonna be the menaces. Very curious about that dynamic that's gonna happen.
Right. Well, now we do know that like because of that WrestleMania match, like Stone Cold is the babyface. So we'll see how he approaches that. Because up to this point, he's been the bad guy this whole time, technically. So we really are. Well, they even said it like during the show, like this is the rise of the anti-hero. Like, the days of your like rah rah like babyface no more. Next, we get a continuation of the Ahmed Johnson Nation of Domination feud when he takes on Savio Vega. We learn that Farouk got his shoulder separated and a lung punctured in the Chicago street fight. And I'm just saying, karma.
Yeah. I'm like, don't feel bad. Literally at all, babes. I really don't. Sorry.
No, sorry.
And this was your idea, pretty sure. This fight.
So Savio wants revenge for Farouk. That's the
okay, girl. I mean, we know Savio loves revenge. Savi with the hands, we used to call him. Be in the day. But so we know he loves to just like engage in fisticuffs at the behest of others when he's able. So not surprising.
Like a hitman for hire.
There you go.
So all of the nation is just kind of like chilling on the ramp. It looks like they're like attending a funeral, like a little bit. Like they're all just like up there, like just not moving, just like
with their hands like
in their little formation. They all found their window, like good for them. But like what like they just stayed up at the top of the entranceway. And you're like, okay. Sure. Ahmed Johnson during this match does the craziest like somersault leg drop that I've ever seen out of this man because he's 300 pounds of just straight muscle. And it was absolutely bonkers and amazing. Just had to point it out.
Yeah, as you should.
The match continues. It's pretty like back and forth. But the nation finally makes their way down. It looks like Ahmed Johnson's gonna do the Pearl River plunge. They pull Savio out of the ring, get the disqualification, and Ahmed Johnson is over it. He grabs like the 2x4, starts like fending them off. He's like, no, we're not playing this game. He grabs the mic and he's like, this has been going on for way too long. He's like, I'll make a deal with y'all. He's like, which is still, we're gonna have to get more clarity on this because it was just very confusing.
I didn't make any sense. I have no idea what happened.
He's like, I'll make a deal with you because Farouk ain't here. And essentially he's like, if I win, like you all have to like leave the WWF or like disband or whatever. I don't really know what the stipulation is if he loses, so we haven't really got that part or who he's facing, like which member, all of them. Is this a team situation? I don't really know.
Unclear.
Yeah, just kind of a next confusing step in this saga. Yeah.
Yeah, because I kept waiting for, and if you win, like I leave or like whatever, but then he just didn't say anything. Like he
Right.
was like, yeah, so if I win, you guys got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
then
you're like,
that was it.
yeah.
So not sure
So
what's gonna happen there.
hopefully we get a clearer picture on what that means. Hopefully next week
Hmm.
because I'm also ready for this feud to dissipate. I'm ready.
Yeah, kinda, for sure.
Yeah, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
So speaking of moving on, we get Paul Bear on the Titantron, just kind of chilling in the
No.
backstage area, just waiting. Vince is like trying to get his attention. He's like, Paul, like, can you hear me? Like, hello. And Paul's like, I can hear you. He's
Paul?
like, literally, he's like,
Is
you
that
know who I
you?
want to talk to. And you're like, okay.
I'll kill
So
him.
basically, he's not talking to anybody but the Undertaker. We all know
Gross.
what he's here for. We all know, like a true fair weather friend. He decided that the Undertaker has his title back. The Undertaker is back on top. The Undertaker is not one to be tested with, and he's on his belly, just like a worm trying to crawl his way back. So we cut away from Paul Bear and we get the Undertaker's entrance. The Undertaker comes out looking like gunslinger extraordinaire. He comes out
Oh,
with a little cowboy hat and
obsessed.
like leather fit. It looks amazing. Just phenomenal. Just absolutely
Incredible.
phenomenal.
10 out of 10. His debut as like his first Monday Night Raw as the champion, and he came out and he said pew pew
Amazing.
like
Amazing.
this with the hat.
Oh, very why can't I think of his name from Mortal Kombat, the one whose hat it's fine. Irrelevant
Okay.
point. So the Undertaker gets into the ring. He starts his promo and he's like, welcome to the dark days of the WWF. And he
Work.
basically is like, I am the knight that will fight anybody who opposes us.
Us.
Like, because he basically says, like, oh, like this title is like for you, like, and I will be like your knight.
Whatever. I don't even care.
Amazing. So
It's
then he
like
goes on,
whatever.
he's like, I would like to thank Psycho Sid and applaud him for having the bravery to get into the ring with me,
Work.
essentially. And that is such a like just backhanded like compliment for yourself. You know what I mean?
And
It's
it was
just like,
so genuine. He was like, he really was so brave. Like claps for Psycho Sid. That was really good of
like
you.
what a valiant effort.
I swear, so great.
He's like, it was for naught, but nice try.
Aw, A for effort.
So then he goes on to address mankind being the number one contender, and basically he says like uh that mankind makes him a better gladiator. That like essentially it's that like what is it, iron sharpens iron kind of situation, where it's like he makes me better because he is somebody that's actually given me a challenge.
Mm,
And I love that energy. Like,
love
sure.
that energy.
He said, I'm not, he's like, I don't blame him for nothing. He just made me better. What do you mean? Like,
What?
you know what I mean?
He's like,
Um,
yeah, just sharpen the blade.
and then
Incredible.
Paul Bear starts
No,
making his way down the
get
ring,
out of here.
and he's like, essentially he goes to Taker. He's like, if you need to beat me up, do what you gotta do.
Please.
And you're like, sure, sounds
Sure.
great. Um, so he finally like makes his way down to the ring. So it's the Undertaker and Paul Bear in the ring, and who shows up on the Titantron but Mankind, who's looking for his papa. He's like, it's like, so he's like on the Titantron just calling for Uncle Paul, and he's like, once again, he's like, don't make me find you. And we're like, everybody knows where he is. He's
He's
right.
right there.
But we get no resolution.
None.
The episode ends with Taker and Paul Bear in the ring, Mankind shouting over the Titantron, and us left with no answers.
I'm furious.
Right.
I'm furious.
Tell us
And I
everything.
called it.
You
I
did.
called it. Last week during WrestleMania, I was like, I kept waiting for Paul Bear to come out because I know I had this bad feeling. And as soon as Mankind was like, Uncle Paul left me, I was like, I just know. I just
Mm-hmm.
know Judas is trying to get into the Last Supper. I just know it.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
just know
mm-hmm.
it. And
Right.
I won't stand for it. I won't stand for it. I swear to God, I'm so livid. I'm so mad.
Right.
I'm so mad. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Because I've been trying to have you beaten up for a year.
No.
A year.
And nothing. No
and
hands.
Nothing.
No. And all of a sudden, I'm telling you, Fairweather friend, he coming back. He said, he's like, oh, you got the title. Oh, okay, I got you. He's like,
I got it without you. Go away.
He hit Undertaker with that, like, I miss you text.
The hey, big head. Don't you dare.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. The unmitigated gall. No one, honestly, no one has more unmitigated gall in the WWE right now than Paul Bearer. I'll say it, because what are you doing? So what?
On a dime, you have no shame, none.
You flip a coin and decide who you're going to support today. I'm sick. Get that urn with whoever's questionable remains are in there and get gone. I'm tired.
Get gone.
I'm tired. I can't. I'm so upset. Go away. Undertaker can't have anything. He had 24 hours apiece? 24 hours apiece? Here comes Paul. Hey.
Amazing.
Just wanted to check in. Get out of here. I'm done.
Get out of here. Get out of here. What a snake.
But now Mankind's mad at you. That's also snakes in the grass because the bitch ain't cut. I say it all the time. But now Mankind's mad at you, and now Undertaker's also mad at you, because if Undertaker takes you back, I'm gonna be very disappointed in him. I really am. But if Undertaker and Mankind are mad at you, that thrills me a little. I won't lie.
It absolutely does. I think that's fantastic. Thank you.
So we'll see.
Amen. So that has been this edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. Thank you guys for watching wherever you find us. Stay tuned. This weekend, we are going to have our special Slammies edition of the show. So we talked about the 1997 Slammies. That will be on April 5th, which is April 5th, which will be the same day that the actual Slammies 2024 will be occurring. And next week, we are going to have our first guest, professional wrestler Robert Martyr is going to be joining us.
So exciting.
He's going to have some clips, some matches for us to kind of watch. So we're going to see a different kind of episode next week. We're going to just be on the journey with our guest. Wherever our guest wants to take us on the learning tree, that's where we're going.
That's where we're going to get an education, girl.
Amen. I will also make mention, now that it's like official, I did all of the paperwork and things. So I will, this weekend, WrestleMania 40 will be in Philadelphia, and I have applied to be part of the event staff. So this weekend, I will be at some point working some facet of WrestleMania.
Oh my God.
I don't know what I'm going to be doing yet. Details are, they're keeping them close to the vest, but it's exciting. It's the closest to WrestleMania I've ever gotten, and I'll keep you posted on what they have me do.
This is amazing. I just think this is so cool, because even if you're just like moving chairs or like doing whatever, like you can say, like, as a wrestling fan for your whole life, basically, like, you helped set up WrestleMania 40 in Philly. Like, I just think that's amazing, and like, mad props. I'm so excited. Like, took a chance, decided to apply, and like, just thrilling. Just a thrill. I'm just so happy for you. And also, it was just Xavier's birthday. So, sorry, airing you out. It was Xavier's birthday on April 1st. He's an April Fool's baby, to no one's surprise. So,
Amen.
Happy birthday.
Thank
WrestleMania
you.
40. Get to do a little behind the scenes for it. I just think it's the best thing ever. And like, I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I will keep you guys posted. I have no idea what they're going to have me do, but it'll just be cool to be around. Hopefully I'll get to see some peoples. Stay tuned for the next couple of weeks. We've got some guests lined up for you, and some special shows I've got cooking. So thank you. And we will catch you next week.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.